The member for Ballina.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister for Planning. Given your government's commitment to protect our community from the over-proliferation of short-term holiday letting, will you defer the application of the statewide policy for Byron Shire until the gateway determination is concluded?
Minister.
I'd like to thank you, Mr Speaker. I'd like to thank the member for Ballina for her question and for her advocacy on behalf of her community on this really important issue to the council and the community of Byron Shire. Housing pressures right across New South Wales are particularly acute at the moment, and nowhere more so than on the state's north coast. And I know the council for some time has been grappling with the issues of both demand created through people seeking to relocate with the benefits of flexible working that has been, I guess, a silver lining to the COVID-19 pandemic, which has seen changes in settlement patterns, which is great news in terms of flexibility for many families, but creates additional pressures in very attractive regional areas like the far north coast. That's also been something, I suppose, of a perfect storm when you're also looking at the economic disruption around accommodation that's been generated by short-term rental accommodation. That's been an issue that we have been seeing coming for some time, which is why back in February 2019 it was recognised due to strong lobbying at the time by council and others to ensure that while we wanted to move to statewide clear rules in relation to short-term rental accommodation across New South Wales, there was a special case because of the unique pressures faced in the Byron Shire for a different approach to be taken. I've had the opportunity to meet on a couple of occasions since then with council that are doing their best to look at innovative solutions to their housing challenges. Obviously, one of the issues that we can always look at in terms of providing more opportunity for accommodation for local people is to increase supply. But when you have a very desirable and fragile coastal environment like Byron Shire, the opportunity for more housing supply is understandably difficult, so we have to look at more innovative solutions. I want to commend council. On record, actually put my appreciation for the work of former Mayor Simon Richardson, who I always found to be someone who really had the interests of his community at heart. And I certainly wish him all the best in his retirement for council. And also the great innovative town planner at Byron Shire, Shannon Burt, who does an incredible job with pretty limited resources to advocate for the interests of her community. I've worked with council in relation to their plans for 22 Stewart Street in Mullumbimby, as well as their innovative ideas around tiny houses, and also their advocacy to try and ensure that they progress their gateway application to see if a unique or bespoke solution can be achieved in relation to short-term rental accommodation in the Byron Shire. So that exclusion from the statewide policy was first provided to Byron back in, as mentioned, July 2019. It's been extended on a couple of occasions, and they've now got until the end of summer to complete that work. To be honest, that's provided a bit over 3 years to do that work. I believe that is a good amount of time to be able to be provided to provide that certainty to the community in relation to finalising the social and economic work needed to justify the particular solution they're seeking. Obviously, my instruction to council to the department is always to work with council to finalise the outstanding work that they need to do. But there is a process. There have been deferrals. At some point, I need to draw a line in the sand and say, now's the time at which you need to actually come forward with a concrete proposal, based with justification through evidence. So certainly we'll work with council to help them achieve that deadline, but I don't think it would be appropriate to entertain a further extension beyond the extensions that have already been provided. Nonetheless, I'm very happy to work with the member for Ballina, her office and the council to ensure that important evidentiary base is prepared as quickly as possible so that we can advance on this challenge. I also, in conclusion, wanted to thank Byron Shire for their submission into the Regional Housing Task Force and the way in which they're working cooperatively to solve what are really some very complex issues for all of us right across New South Wales, but no more so than in Byron Shire.
Thank you. Member